Hi, so I thought I'd make a book for a good friend of mine whose birthday is coming up in another couple of weeks, and it's a surprise birthday party. So what I thought I would do is create her a book that has some pictures that I captured off of her Facebook page, unbeknown to her, which should be somewhat of a surprise, but shouldn't be a real problem considering she posted them on Facebook in the first place. And what I've done is I've created an album, and I'm sort of doing a pun on the book 50 Shades of Grey by calling this 50 Shades of Diane. Diane is her name. So to explain how I put this book together, the cover, front cover and the back cover are made out of fairly stiff cardboard. What I have found with this is that when you use the Cricut, it doesn't really cut very well anything that's thicker than basically a cereal box. So cereal boxes don't make really nice covers. So what I've done is I've taken some wallpaper covering that comes from wallpaper sample books that were being thrown out. A friend of mine got me a whole bunch of them, and these are really great because what I do is I create sort of a laminated cover. I take a piece of very thin cardboard, the kind of thing you'd find inside a shirt that you might buy, or in my case I got it from a folder of paper that it was used to as a protective backing. I used that, I cut it down. I also took 2 sheets of the wallpaper sample paper and I cut it about the same size, and I ran them through my Xyron and I laminated them. One sheet on one side of the cardboard, another sheet on the back side of it. So basically I'm layering it. Then I've run this through the Cricut with the shape that I want, and I found that you should run it through about 5 or 6 times and use the deep cutting blade that you can get with the Cricut. And then that works pretty well. It makes a nice stiff cover. In fact, with the scrap pieces that I used from the back cover, I used the Cricut to cut out the title, 50 Shades of Diane, and I also used it to cut out this frame. Now actually the frame I cheated on. It's about 6 pieces of pattern paper cut and then glued together to give it more of a dimension. I don't think you can see that on the camera, but it is more of a dimension. Made it thicker, put the picture in behind, and then I raised it with some pop-ups on either side. Okay, inside. This page is just basically my dedication page, and on this, these were pre-made book plates. I just stuck it in and put the date of when I made it, April 2013. And then on the first page, I created a page where she can add some pictures of her own. This picture, again, I cut out a frame, I added some buttons and some fiber to it, raised it with pop dots, and then I created a little pocket. And I'll just pull these little things out here. I created this pocket, and basically it was this shape cut out, and then I just trimmed it so it would fit and glued it on 3 sides. Here it gets a little extra dimension because it has the holes punched into it. And then I just did some stamping on it. The stamp I use is confidential. And this whole book, the papers that I've picked and everything and the way that I've gone about it is sort of a grunge book. I gave it sort of a rustic, weathered look. I made these little albums as well, as you can see here. And again, basic shape cut on Cricut. I actually took 2 shapes the same and welded them together. And I just did a stamp on top of it. And what I did was, this was plain construction paper. I basically distressed it by wetting it, crumpling it up, then flattening it out and just running over top of it with some Tim Holtz inks from his vast line of colors. And then I took an iron, and once it had dried, I flattened it out with an iron. So you get these nice little ridges, and then put the stamp on it, punched a hole, actually put an eyelet in the hole to reinforce it in the front cover, and tied a little piece of coordinating ribbon to the end of it, and it just tucks right in there. I did a similar thing in different colors with this one. And just to give a little extra dimension, I found these at Walmart. They're paper clips, and they just have a very fancy little head on them, and they're kind of big, and I thought they kind of look nice as a little embellishment. Holds in just like that. So you just arrange them. The next page, what I did was, again, I cut out a strip along here, and I simply inked it around the edges to give it that distressed look. She likes butterflies, so I just punched some butterflies on here, and I didn't worry too much about whether or not I got a really good image or a faded image, because that's all part of the grunge look. In the pocket, I placed a couple of things. I made these tags. I used Tim Holtz Distress stains, wiped it across on both sides, and then I just used a collage stamp and stamped lightly on each side of it. Got some, was it washi tape they call it, put it along the edge, on the back as well. And I found these little gears. They're Tim Holtz as well. I love Tim Holtz stuff. I've got it all. And I just put a ribbon through that and through the hole that was already in the tag. In fact, this tag is a commercially made tag. I just bought them at Staples. And put a piece of ribbon through it. And I distressed the edges again with some black ink. And so you have these two things get tucked into there, and you know, she can use that to write things or to stick some pictures on or whatever. And then, I don't know if many of you have heard of them. They've been around for quite a while now, and they're quite popular. Smash journals. And smash journals are basically a pre-made journal with a whole bunch of accessories that you can put into it, where you can write about whatever you want. They're kind of like an art journal in a sense. Well, they have all these little booklets, and I'll show you one. Here's one. They have these little albums that are all full of little pre-made little doies in here. And I thought, well, you know, I do have a Smash album, and I kind of use it and I kind of don't use it, but I really like these little cards, and they comes with quite a variety of these. And I found some that I thought were appropriate, so you'll see them throughout this album. So this one just says stuff, and I thought that's a good little place, another area where she could write a note. On the page beside it, again, I took a picture from her Facebook page and I put it through Photoshop, actually Photoshop Elements, and just sort of made a clone copy of it and made this little strip, which I hear here on an angle. Behind it is a little piece of washi tape again. Another pocket down here with some butterflies stamped on it, same kind of idea as I did on the first page, and then a couple of more of these Smash Journal little pages. This one says fabulous, and this one's kind of fun. Big loudmouth. I hope she doesn't take that as a reflection on what I'm saying about her personality. I don't mean that, Diane, if you ever see this video. Not at all. I just thought it looked nice and kind of goes with the grunge effect. You'll see now that I've carried over sort of the same technique on pages. One page will have this vertical pocket. The other page will have a horizontal pocket. And again, I just embellished the pages with whatever way. This one, I happened to find this really funky paper clip. Again, I think that came from Walmart. And I did a variation on a little album. Again, I distressed it using Tim Holtz inks and doing that, crumpling it up with the water and flattening it out with an iron kind of technique. And in this one's case, I made it several pages, so I just did 2 pages, folded one inside the other one, punched a couple of holes, ran the ribbon through, tied it here as the binding, and then stamped it. And that just tucks right in there. And again, the little clip part, it's just for fun, something a little different. And it just holds it in there, and there's a little embellishment up at the top of that. This page, I again took another picture from her Facebook, and I put it through Photoshop Elements, and I did one of the artistic techniques to it to make it look sort of old and faded and grainy. I had, these are Tim Holtz as well. They come pre-made this way. Didn't have to do a thing except punch them out. But this one could have been separated, but I left them together. And inside it's blank, so she can write things or put little miniature pictures. And I added a piece of embroidered ribbon here and punched a couple of words. This one's French for butterfly, and butterfly below that. So it basically carries over the theme that I'm doing with this book. On the next page, and by the way, these interior pages are actually 2 pages of heavy patterned cardstock that I've cut out and then glued together to make it a little bit heavier. I find that double-sided cardstock is very good for this, but sometimes the pages will warp a little bit. Even this is warping just a little bit. So if I put 2 together, then it gives me a little extra thickness and they're a little bit sturdier. Now on this one, again, these 3 little things are all from the Smash albums, and they just say different things, and I put a big decorative brad. I think I got these brads at Winners. Sometimes at Winners you can find some good deals on scrapbooking stuff. They don't have a lot, but it depends when you go in. But I've gotten some good deals there if you scrounge through their piles of things. This page I really like because I did something a little different here. Again, the same idea with the pocket. This was actually, believe it or not, on her website. I didn't create this, but what I did was I copied it out and I printed it on a piece of vellum. And this is the original coloring that it printed out as. I didn't do anything to it. But with vellum, since it's see-through, when I put it over top of the pocket, it almost looks like it's been embossed onto it. Camera probably doesn't pick that up very well. Inside, I found these little cards. They're playing cards. They're by Tim Holtz as well. And there's a bunch of numbers and a bunch of letters. And I just found the letters for her name. And that's what it spells out here. D. I'm messing them all up. But D-I-A-N-E, Diane. And then I created this little booklet inside here. Now these would have to come out. I guess I better take them out, or I can't show you this because this is glued down here. But there's another one of those fancy little clips, Walmart kind of a thing. And this is an accordion fold. And in that I just add it, get it all into the shot here. Not sure if I'm all in the shot, but you can see. Again, I used the smashed journal inserts, and I cut some little frames, and I did some stamping here. These say memories, flowers. So again, she can stick her own pictures of whatever she'd like. And also the corner treatments on this from some corner punches that I've had for years. Don't know who made them. They were all the rage at one time about 10 years ago. And so I've just repurposed them, and that's what holds this picture in. I just thought I'd add in a nice little corner treatment to each thing. And of course I distressed the corners again with a black ink pad. So put this back in, see if I can spell her name correctly. D I A N and E. Next page. Same theme, you can see I'm carrying on. I found some glitter paper here. I didn't actually do the glittering. The paper already came that way, and I had cut this pattern out. And actually, originally, I had cut it out without these little holes. I did this pattern, but I like this one better. But I didn't want to throw this away, and so I just cut it in half and used it as an embellishment on my little pocket here. These are cards that say different things. Remember, these are giant tags, actually. And again, I think those are 7 gypsies. I think I bought those at Joann's when I went down to Florida. Added another kind of 3D embellishment. That little embellishment just came from the dollar store. There's some, I don't know if the camera's picking them up, but there's some little pearl hearts along here. Again, I think they came from the dollar store. And then I was looking through my stash of embellishments, and I happened to come across this little brown envelope. And I thought, well, that's kind of fun. So I put love notes, because this has to do with her wedding. And inside I just put a little, another one of those smash note things, if I can get it out. And it says, the best part was. So she can write whatever she would like there. I cut that down a little bit so that would fit into the envelope. So we just tuck that right back in there and tuck that under the pocket. Now the last page is same idea, that paper that had the glitter, and I did some stamping on it, just all over the place, little butterfly things with writing just to make it grunge it up. And this is an album of Diane and her wife. And this all comes, if I can get it to go here, I just simply cut out some shapes, and okay, that's better. And you can see it's a little fold out circular thing that she can put a few more pictures in and tuck that in there. Last page is just, again, a faceplate that says my name on it, who it was created by. And I took the whole thing, and just set it up here, and I bound it using a cinch, and then just make it a little bit more interesting. And so it matched the ribbons that are on the various tags on this side. I just tied some of the similar colors to all the coils here, and that's that. So, last stage of this little project is I've bought a box, a plain white box that'll fit this, and I'm going to stamp on it with some butterflies so it'll look very unique. So that's how I did that. Hope you like it.